Hey everybody, and welcome to rabb1t's podcast 419. I don't really have anything new to talk about this time, so I thought I might talk about stuff I have installed on my system that I have yet to play, which is sort of, I guess you could say, in my Steam backlog, though one game is actually not on Steam. Hopefully, you'll enjoy the show.
The time for denial has passed.
I still have yet to play Darkest Dungeon 2. They actually just got some new content added for free, which I think is a totally new game mode. I think what happened is because it was on Epic exclusively in early access for more than a year, my brain kind of put it into this place of it's out, but I want to wait to play it until it's on Steam and, fully released in version 1. And so all that time, since I knew it existed, that I didn't have it, I think my brain just kind of permanently locked it into the it's not available to play kind of space, and so I just haven't ever really gotten into it, and so I just kind of hadn't gotten around to it. I did love the first one very much, but I've only played the first 5 hours or so of Darkest Dungeon 2 so far. But if you like spooky gothic kind of strategy games, I would highly recommend it. I got Returnal as soon as it was available for PC. I really love Housemarque games and have gotten several of their games in the past. Actually, some of their favorite ones I don't even have access to anymore because they were PlayStation exclusive. So I was quite happy when Returnal came to PC. However, every time I've tried to play, it's kind of kicked my ass. I'm not really good or interested in bullet hell type games, which are games where a bunch of stuff flies towards your guy and you gotta dodge and get out of the way and keep moving, and it gets really crazy sometimes. So the furthest I've ever gotten is sort of the end boss of the first area, of which there are 5. I guess apparently you can eventually find some shortcuts to sort of fast forward through the worlds in future runs, but basically it's mostly like an old school arcade game in that you have the one life, and then when you die you have to completely restart everything. There are roguelike elements in that you do get to build up some unlocks and you get more skilled with the weapons, and so that does carry over run to run. But like I said, I've only gotten to the end boss of the first world like twice, and it takes about an hour per run to get there for me. So I've had a pretty big struggle actually getting through it, but hopefully someday I will get through it. Probably going to be the next game I try and focus on to really get through, or permanently put to the side, because it is quite large at like 80 gig or something, so it's taking up a lot of space. Dredge is a very interesting little indie game. It's not too tough to run, so pretty much everything you can run it. It is pretty much a spooky Lovecraftian kind of story, where you start out with a little boat and you're just doing some fishing stuff, but you slowly reveal this deeper Lovecraftian story. I did play for I think probably about 5 or 10 hours, at which point my person kind of went crazy and I just got smashed by some monster for no reason, and then it backtracked me a bunch of time because it put me back at my last save point. And I don't know, I kind of lost interest after that. It's kind of something, at least for me, that I really got to get into and not stop playing, because it's interesting, but in a very low-key sort of cozy game kind of way is the new term. And so after that first big death, when I got set back, I kind of lost interest and stopped playing, and then just haven't gone back yet. I do hear it's not very long if you play through it, so I will probably get back to it pretty soon. Everspace 2 is a space flight sim kind of shooting game. It's kind of old school arcadey. It's not quite bullet hell, but it is something I had looked forward to for quite a long time. I don't even know how long it's been out, but it finally went on sale for more than 50% off, so I got it really cheap. I think I've only just barely played the tutorial because I've got all these other things I'm playing now, so I will get to it eventually, but now I have it. I don't have to worry about watching for another super deep sale because I got it on super deep sale. But I tend to not be super into flight sim kind of games because they usually devolve into just kind of flying in circles. What little I did play of it wasn't too bad. There wasn't a lot of circle flying, so it does seem pretty interesting. But because I've got some other more important stuff, I haven't really gotten into it that much yet. No Man's Sky I also got on super cheap sale. I think it was something like $7, so that was amazing. I do like it quite a bit. I haven't played too much. I think I've only played maybe 20 hours, and then I kind of stopped and haven't gone back yet. I'm not really super into the sort of survival crafting things where you have to go around and you have to collect 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 and then you build a thing. And it's like, okay, cool, I built the thing. Well, now you got to build another thing. So you have to go out and collect and collect and collect and collect, and then you build the other thing. And it's just kind of a repeat of that. So I don't know, I kind of lost interest. I'll probably get more into it at some point. I do think that once I get through the sort of first set of building all the things, it will be less important and more free to go around and explore all the cool things. But it is a space game where you're playing sort of an astronaut person, and I guess you can pick different races and backgrounds, and that's kind of cool, but they're all kind of superficial. It's all just kind of the one main story that you're following, build certain things and then go to a certain place, and then you're exploring a bit of a mystery. So seems pretty cool and interesting. Probably has pretty low priority to me because, like I said, I'm not super into survival crafting kind of things, but it did look pretty cool. I am very interested in Light No Fire, which the devs who made No Man's Sky are working on. So I did kind of want to pick up No Man's Sky to check out if it might be something I might really enjoy. And from what I've seen of No Man's Sky, I think that is definitely yes. Steamworld Build and Steamworld Heist 2 are both in the Steamworld kind of series, I guess you could call it. They have a bunch of games. Steamworld Build is a new one where you're building sort of a sim town, and there is a underground area with some stuff going on. I haven't really gotten past the tutorial yet. I think I just tried the demo. I haven't actually played the full release game yet, but I got it super cheap, and I do like the Steamworld games, so I thought I would get that. Steamworld Heist 2 is the second game in the Steamworld Heist series, which is kind of like a strategy puzzle game more than it's anything else. You have, at least for the first one, 3 different robot people, and you're going on a mission, and you have to shoot a bunch of bad guys, and they can do different things like ricochet their bullets off of walls, or sometimes they can do a special move, and so you usually have to, strategically plan out how you do things without your guys getting killed. I also have Circus Electrique, which I got for free during one of the Epic free game giveaway times. It's a lot like the first Darkest Dungeon, where you have some people and you're going around and you're doing different missions. And it looked pretty cool. I don't know too much about it. I just grabbed it when it was free, and I've seen people stream it, so it did look like something I would be into. And that's really all I have to talk about this time. I guess the big closing news for this time is my food money did get reestablished finally. I think I mentioned last time that I would give them a last sort of chance to call before I went through and did any kind of appeal court action thing that they give you the option for. And they did finally call me back. I think it was my regular person. And I don't know. I just never got any explanation as to why it went. I think it was 8 weeks at that point before they'd even done anything with it. So that was very strange. They did have a standard interview where I say, no change, no change, no change. And at the end, he asked if I had any special questions, and I just let him off the hook. I figure, at this point, it doesn't matter why he didn't do what he was supposed to do. Now he's doing it. And so after that, I think it was about an hour and a half later, I checked online and it showed my status was back in good standing and the money was actually already there. So I am back to my regular food amount. So everything there is okay. I don't know what I'll talk about on next podcast. I'm not totally sure when it will be. Probably the usual 3 weeks seems pretty good, even though times like this come up, I don't have anything to talk about. So if there is Valentine's Day during that time, hopefully people who have sweeties will have a good time, and hopefully people like me who don't will be, not too sad. But I don't know what I'll talk about next time, but hopefully I'll see everybody then. Okay, thanks, bye.
You have been listening to Rabbit's Ramblings. If you would like to see the show notes or feed the bunny by sending a donation, you can find the show website at www.rabbit.com/podcast/rabbitsramblings.html. When you type Rabbit's Ramblings, don't use a space. If you would like to send me an email, you can do so at rabbit@rabbit.com. If you like my page, you can also post on Facebook at rabb1t's. You can follow me on YouTube at rabb1t's. I have a page on Patreon at www.patreon.com/rabbit, RABB1T. You can set up a monthly recurring subscription there at a price point of your choice. Be sure to put the number 1 in place of I anytime you type rabbit.
Rabbit's Ramblings is copyright Eric Stryker, using a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Derivatives License 2025.